I'd like to call the meeting of the Reno Planning Commission to order. Would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have roll call, please?
Dennis Romeo.
Present.
Jason Woosley is absent. Doug Kaufman is absent. Buzz Harris.
Present.
Dagny Stapleton.
Here.
Kevin Weisky.
Here.
We do have a quorum. Okay. Item 3 is public comment. This item is for either general public comment or the public comment on an action item. If commenting on an action item, please place the agenda item number on the request to speak form. And if you are speaking on an item on the agenda tonight, please wait for that item to come up and fill out a request to speak form with Michelle over there on the right. Do we have any public comment? Last chance. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to public hearings. Item number 1, LDC 13-00012, Bella Vista Ranch PUD amendment. Vern, are you going to handle this one?
Good evening, Vern Close, Senior Planner. As you all know, this project was continued, or not continued, was heard on September 5th, and due to a noticing error, you're hearing it again. And since that time, a couple things have changed with the application. I sent out a memo late this afternoon. I believe you all have it, but you also have a copy in front of you. And basically what happened is the senior portion of the request was removed. The applicant for that portion of the project withdrew the application, and the property owner provided an applicant affidavit and now is applying for the remaining portion. So items 1 and 2 related to the senior project have been deleted from the request. And what that does is affects there's a number of pages that in the PUD that have been amended or added based on that, and those are pages 2, 9, 55, 57, and 63 through 67 of your Exhibit 1. So all the references to the senior project, increasing units, senior units, standards, all those sorts of things are deleted from the request. So what you're considering now are just the fire changes, and then also the miscellaneous changes to add in things like the health department letter that wasn't in there that should have been there, clarifying the exact acreage of the park, those sorts of clarifications. So with that, staff is recommending approval, and we suggest you use the same motion in the original staff report except for amend it by deleting the first 2 items of the request. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Vern. Are there any comments from the applicant? Are you satisfied with?
Good evening. For the record, Mike Raley with Rubicon Design Group, here on behalf of Bonaventure and Corona Cyan. We're in agreement with Vern's.
Thank you, Mike. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the general public that would like to speak on this item? Now is your chance. Seeing none, close the public hearing, bring it back to the board. What's the will of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, first of all, I would like to disclose that I received an email regarding this project. I didn't meet with anybody, though.
Commissioner Stapleton.
This time previously I did.
I received an email, did not meet with anyone.
Okay. Commissioner Harris.
I have the same disclosure.
And I just received an email today also, and previously met with all people concerned. That out of the way, what's the will of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, if nobody has any questions, I'm ready to make a motion.
Commissioner Weisky.
In the case of LDC 13-00012, Bella Vista Ranch PUD Amendment, Bonaventure, based upon compliance with the applicable findings, I move to recommend that City Council approve the amendment to the design standards, subject to Condition A as written below. If specific architectural elevations and/or text prescribing architectural standards for the Bonaventure Senior Facility have not been provided in time to be adequately reviewed, then it is recommended that the Planning Commission defer action on this case. Although at this time, because we have a new recommendation from staff, items 1 and 2 are being pulled from this application, and therefore nothing should be being proposed on the senior facility.
Thank you, Commissioner Weisky. Do we have a second? Commissioner Harris?
I can second that motion and make the findings as well.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let the record show the motion carries 4-0. Good luck with your project. Item 2, Evans Avenue Industrial, LDC 13-00023. Is the applicant or the applicant's representative here? You have 15 minutes. Please identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. My name is Craig Wilcutt, President and CEO of United Construction, and we're here to propose a new building on the corner of 5th and Evans. The reason we're here is because the type of use does not fit within the Wells District. This building is about a 15,000 square foot light assembly industrial facility. It will be used for it is a single user building. There's a current one tenant long-term lease that's in the wings ready to sign. So we will propose, I have Don Clark with Cathexis Architect to go through the design of the building. This project's an infill project. All utilities are at the site. We have agreed to complete redo 5th Street from the corner of Evans down to the property line. The project is being proposed, and I want to thank staff for helping this, but the project is being proposed to be completed this year. Tenant is planning on occupying in December, so it's a fast-track project. At this time, I'll let Don present the architecture.
Thanks. Mr. Chairman, Don Clark with Cathexis, the architect for the project. I've pulled up a site plan just showing it's a first of a couple of phases on a particular piece of property in the downtown district. It needs the SUP because that's required for this use to be in the Wells District. First phase is 15,000 square feet. We use the downtown design standards. Here's some quick elevations, a little hard to see with the light, but it's steel block in layers looking like stone, has articulation, very urban in its design. The conditions by staff we agree with, and as Craig said, that we want to get it done this year, which means we need daily miracles to get it done. So if you have any questions, we're here to answer them.
Thank you. Claudia, are you handling this for the city?
I am. Claudia Hansen, Planning and Engineering Manager. I think the applicant's representatives explained the project quite well. Staff supports the project, and I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Claudia. Do we have any disclosures on this item? Commissioner Weisky, Commissioner Stapleton, Commissioner Harris, and I have none. This is a public hearing. I do have one request to speak. Jerry Hawkins. You wish to make a statement?
Jerry Hawkins, I just actually need a little information and let you know we have Windmere Properties, which is a multifamily residential directly to the south across 5th Street. And I couldn't really hear what the gentleman was saying. I think he said they were going to redo 5th Street, but we just received a property assessment for that job. So I don't know if they're paying for it or if we're paying for it, and all the neighbors around there are paying for it. And considering that there's pretty high density residential or commercial residential on the north and the south side of that property, I guess there's no disclosure made about what type of manufacturing facility it is. Can I ask you guys what are you manufacturing?
Please keep your comments to the board.
Okay.
We will ask questions at the appropriate time.
I would like to make sure nothing toxic, obviously. I mean, I know you guys do too, but just to let you know, there's a lot of residents in that area, so I hope that it's nothing that's going to adversely affect anybody in the area. And I would also like to know if they're paying for the street improvement or if the property owners adjacent are, because we did get an assessment for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is there any other requests to speak? Now's your opportunity. With that, I am closing the public hearing, bringing it back to the board members for questions and comments. Commissioner Weisky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question's for staff. How is the proposition of the remodel of Fifth Street and the financial end of it to be taking place? We'll let Bill answer that. Thank you.
Bill Gall for the City of Reno, civil engineer. Apologies. I'm not familiar with the assessment on Fifth Street. We did ask Public Works for comments, didn't receive any. We need, for this project to be completed, we need Fifth Street improved from Evans down to the end of our right-of-way. The project has committed to doing that. We have a condition to do so, and we will require overlay of Fifth Street, new curb and gutter on the north side where the project is, and sidewalk on the south side, new curb and gutter where there's any damage. Any additional improvements that might be required or for the assessment with Public Works, I can contact them during this point, would still be the responsibility of the adjacent property owners to the south. But we are requiring Fifth Street to be completed with this project as part of a condition.
Okay, so Fifth Street, the paving of Fifth Street is done to the center line,
No.
new paving, or is it done
It's
curb to
full
curb?
width, curb width.
Okay.
Full width of
And
Fifth
then
Street.
just on the north side of Fifth Street will be new curb and gutter, which is what is affected by this property, this development?
No, we've asked them to do curb and gutter on both sides.
Okay.
And the sidewalk will be on the north side only.
Oh, the sidewalk only on the
Yes.
north side. Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Stapleton, any questions?
Just to follow up, Bill. Is that a common requirement that you might ask of applicants if the street needs to be improved to improve? I didn't see it in the conditions. I'm assuming it's just a condition of Public Works that you guys have already worked out for the street. Is it a total reconstruction or just a?
I mean, actually, it's a discussion we've had with them, and that they're aware of what we would do. This is a standard condition. If there was no, if there was no special use permit and they came in simply for a building permit, this is in our Public Works design manual, and it's standard condition for them to do improvements adjacent to their development that they will be impacting if those improvements are required. Fifth Street's in horrible condition,
Yeah.
and it is required to do so. So even if this wasn't an SUP, we would be requiring those improvements by any development that came through there.
Okay. And then second question, I guess, for the applicant or the applicant's representative, just to address the question of the concerned citizen. I know it says in the staff report that whatever manufacturing you guys will be doing doesn't have any emissions, or can you just provide a little bit more information just so we all feel safe about that and so the member of the public has that information for his residents and his properties?
Yeah, the current tenant, it's not manufacturing, it's light assembly. So there will be actually no manufacturing in the building itself. It'll all be interior, indoor light assembly, basically putting components together. Made components that are just using screws and nuts and bolts. So there is no manufacturing.
So no emission, so nothing
No.
associated with that that'll have any
No,
sort
there-
of negative
there will be no-
externalities outside of the walls of the project?
That's correct,
Okay.
none.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Harris? Nothing? Any further? Commissioner Weisky?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment to make since questions are over. And it concerns Phase 2 of this project, the north half of the property. And I would like to throw out for consideration to my fellow planning commissioners an additional condition that says at the completion of construction that the vacant lot, the undeveloped lot known as Phase 2, be fenced off or barricaded off so that there's no parking or traffic on it so that we're not dragging mud and debris and whatever around the city, and we don't have any kind of paving on it for temporary parking, which wouldn't meet our parking regulations.
Please.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking on the north side of the proposed Phase 1.
Correct, Craig. Yeah, just up
So
to
just-
Evans, just
just
up
on
to
the-
6th Street and from the
Along
driveway.
The whole 3 sides? Because of the east side's already fenced.
The east side is already fenced.
Right.
Any drive approaches that you have on 6th Street, barricade that off. And then anything on the paving edge, your edge line of paving, between Phase 1 and Phase 2, block that off so that cars can't go and park in that undeveloped lot.
Chain link fence, okay?
That's whatever you propose to do, just something that staff will approve when the building permit comes through.
We can do that.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Commissioner Weisky, would it be acceptable to have Claudia work with the applicant to assure that that's part of this?
Yes.
As a
The
general.
last sentence of what I would propose as a condition would be for planning or staff to verify and approve during the permit process that it's barricaded off to their satisfaction.
Okay. And
They can do that.
that could be part of the motion.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments? Chair will entertain them. Oops.
I was just going to make a comment that the design is really beautiful, and so thanks. This is a great infill project, so thank you. It's my comment.
Commissioner Weisky, motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the case of LDC 13-00023, Evans Avenue Industrial, based upon compliance with the applicable findings, I move to approve the special use permit subject to the conditions and also adding an additional condition, number 8, which should read, you want to
Claudia,
go
do you have
ahead
an idea?
and
So you would want a condition on there that requires security fencing, basically, for the northern portion of the site identified as Phase 2 to prevent vehicles from parking or driving in that area.
correct. And staff is to approve that during the permit process.
Review and approve, yes.
And can you make the findings?
And I can make all of the findings, yes.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? Commissioner Stapleton.
I'll second the motion. I can make the findings.
We have,
Mr. Chairman, before we take a vote, I just want to say that 2 months ago, we had a project come before us in this same district. And not to bring up old projects, but to continue moving forward, not all projects we see in this neighborhood are going to be entertainment projects, but they do, this project fits very well in this neighborhood, and it will enhance what we're looking for as far as development and infill projects, which will bring jobs to the community, within walking distance for many who live in the area. Lots of different enhancements. I think this is the beginning of a good project and a good move for this neighborhood.
thank you, Commissioner Weisky. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let the record show the motion carries 4-0. Good luck with your project. Item 5, public comment. This public comment item is to allow the public to provide general public comment and not for comment on individual action items contained on this agenda. If you have something to say off the agenda, now is your time. You can come up. You will have to fill out another card at the end. It's Jerry Hawkins.
Jerry Hawkins, Winmer Properties.
Please
One
speak.
of our properties on the corner of Fifth and Evans there. I'd just like to say, I think it's a great-looking project, the one that you just approved, the last one that we were talking about. I know this isn't the subject right now, but it's a great-looking project. I think it'll improve a lot of things. Hopefully, they'll bring a lot of jobs. We all know we need that. But it was real blurry who's paying for the street. I mean, we already paid an assessment, so I hope that you guys would clarify that and let people know or hold them accountable to who's going to pay for that.
I think we have the people here in this room that can answer that question
And
for
I
you.
I
And
thought
maybe
that
af-
gentleman said he wasn't sure.
Maybe
so-
after the meeting, you might want to
Okay.
get together with
We'll get your
Claudia.
contact information to Bill, and
That's
we'll be
great.
in touch this week.
And I appreciate it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Please fill out a comment card before you leave. All right, there being no further comment, I will close that portion. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Second? All in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. 20 minutes. Well,